All right, here we are. We are back. Welcome to Covering Your Health with Evelyn Erives, presented by IEHP. This show is going to be special. I know you are going to get as much out of it as I did. I could pinch myself right now. We have Hollywood powerhouse couple Boris Kodjoe and Nicole Ari Parker on the podcast today. Yes, dude, this is so exciting. I'm a huge fan of both of them. This is just amazing. So Boris just completed the seventh season, the final season of ABC's show Station 19. And Nicole is currently filming the third season of one of my favorite shows too, Max's hit show, And Just Like That in New York. Of course, it's the spinoff from Sex and the City. Boris and Nicole have partnered with IEHP previously to raise awareness about health disparities that impact the African American community. And today we are going to check in with the couple, hear how they've navigated their own health journeys, and just really how they balance their physical and mental health, what tips they have for fellow parents. We're going to talk about their kids and how they keep them healthy. Oh, I just know you're going to love today's episode.
Welcome to Covering Your Health, a wellness podcast dedicated to covering all areas of living a healthy and happy lifestyle. From healthy hearts to understanding health plans and everything in between, each episode will provide you with a better understanding of managing your health, preventative care, and staying on the right path for your family's wellness journey. The Covering Your Health podcast is presented by IEHP. Now, your host, Evelyn Erives.
Well, without further ado, welcome Boris and Nicole. Hello.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you. This is crazy. First off, obviously you are in two different locations. Can we talk a little bit about that? How you're juggling this right now?
Oh my God.
Well, we kind of used to it. You used to it. You know, Nicole's shooting her show in New York. I shot my show here in LA.
Mhm.
So we go back and forth. You know, we love New York, so it's not hard for me to go over there and see her and spend some time. And now that the kids are pretty much out the house, there's really nothing keeping me in LA except the two dogs that we have. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just the dogs.
So you guys are primarily based in LA then, or in New York?
Mhm.
In LA.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been in LA for a while, and now that Nicole's shooting in New York, we spend sort of equal amount of time in both places.
Well, okay, so let's chat a little bit about your schedules right now. So you're filming, Boris. Are you still currently filming right now? Station
No,
19?
we just wrapped the final season of Station 19 2 months ago. So yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet.
Aw.
On the one hand, it's great because you get to tackle new endeavors and challenges and have fun doing other things. On the other hand, we've established this family for the past 7 years, so I'm gonna miss those people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It had a good run. It really
Oh
did
yeah,
a good run. Yeah, that was a good show. So
absolutely, yeah.
congratulations too on that. And
Thank
then
you.
of course, Nicole, you are busy right now. I have watched all the first two seasons as well, and just like that. And
Yeah.
so how's it going? Third season right now.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, I'm here. I've been here. I haven't seen my husband in person in 3 weeks. Pretty.
Oh no.
That's the
And
longest we've ever gone.
I know. So I'm so excited to go home this weekend.
Oh, I bet. Oh my God. Okay, we'll make this quick then.
Right. No,
Watch
We
out.
gotta wrap it up.
the fashion is still the same. The cast is just spectacular. The writing, I'm just having a good time.
That is amazing. I love it. Oh, I'm all in. I'm all in. I cannot wait for the third season. So very exciting. Okay, so this is a health and wellness podcast. You both are big advocates. You have a long legacy of health advocacy through the Kodjoe Family Foundation. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. Tell us about your philanthropy efforts on behalf of your daughter. I want to hear about that a little bit. Sophie's spina bifida journey.
Well, when we first started the foundation, it was around, it really grew out of a necessity to not only reach out to other families, but also kind of support ourselves. I mean, our first baby was born with spina bifida. Um, and had surgery very early in her life, and had subsequently had a very high maintenance lifestyle, medication, and all kinds of things. And so our parenting was turned on to like 100% about becoming very healthy, very regimented, and um, and so the foundation was focused around that. But around 14 years old, she's 19 now. Sophie said, I want my own voice. I don't necessarily know if I want the foundation to be named after me. And so we took that to heart. And now it's still about supporting families in the health space, but also providing scholarships in the athletic space too,
Yeah.
because I'm married to a very excited tennis player, very passionate tennis player who
Mhm.
really remembers. I'll let him speak for himself, but it's really about outreach and providing exposure and talent to coaches and schools and academies, and giving kids a chance.
I love that. And you have a very talented athlete in the family too, right? Your son.
Yes, he was my little Bubba. And now he's 17, he's 6'6", and he's in Finland right now in Helsinki playing the finals for the European Championships.
Oh my gosh. How is that? How hard is that to be separate from him? That,
I know
to me,
both of
that's the hardest part. Oh,
yeah, it's part of our life now. I mean,
yeah.
we're a family that moves around, so we're kind of used to it, but Boris got to see him. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, I just got back from there and I got to see a couple of games and they're doing really well. They made the semis now and
That's
they
great.
and they qualified for the World Cup next year, which is exciting.
Oh
So
my
that
gosh.
yeah, that's great. And if they win the tournament, it's going to be the first time a German youth team has won the European Championship. So they're super
Wow.
hyped and
Wow.
motivated. And we're just proud parents who watch their kids spread their wings and go, just to be able to witness that growth and be, an audience to their journeys as they launch is just it's surreal because like Nicole said, he was just a little baby.
Hmm.
So was Sophie. And just to see them be these humans in training is incredible.
People
It,
always ask us about our marriage, sorry.
oh, it's okay.
And how do we make it work? I think just from the very beginning, we wanted to be parents. Like he wanted to be a dad and I wanted to be a mom. And I think that having that focus and then having Sophie and Nicholas is just um, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So we're the kind of parents that you don't, if you pull us into a conversation about our kids, like you might have to rein this in. Like we will give you 100 examples of what we're proud of right now.
No, I got three kids. I get it.
There
I
you go.
get it. I'm in the thick of it. My oldest is 21. I got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. So I
Oh, so
fully
Oh,
get
ask you, like,
so
how,
it's like when you're building something or you're making something out of Legos,
yeah.
and then it's finished and you want everybody to see it. Like, look, look, look,
Yeah.
look.
That's a great
I
example.
built
Look
it.
what I made. Look
took
at
a
it.
Yeah.
long time.
Look at
It took
that.
a long
Look.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't start like this. I just
No,
need you to know
it was a whole
Yeah.
lot of pieces on the floor. Okay.
everything was messy.
Exactly. Exactly. You know it.
Oh, I know. I totally get it. How's Sophie doing now? You said she's 19 years old?
She's
Yeah.
19. She's great. She's about to start her second year at Howard University in DC. And we're back to, being proud. It's like she's been through so much and she has weathered all these storms and she has this tremendous amount of confidence about her and she's self-sufficient, independent. She knows what she needs to do on a daily basis and just to have this beautiful light about her and to be social and to be engaging and to have all these friends and it's just wonderful to watch her thrive on her own in a big city and she loves it. I mean, we've traveled with these kids since they were babies all over the world, so they're used to new places, new people, and it's actually really exciting for them to
Yeah.
venture out and do all these things. So Yeah, I'm about to drop her off at Howard in what, 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Well, congratulations, because it sounds like you got the parenting thing done. It's like good, it's set, it's all the way down.
Well, people say you never stop, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh,
They
my
leave
parents would
and then
say
they
that.
come back.
Oh
So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, congratulations to you both. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about IEHP. You have done a lot with us to raise awareness about health issues that are disproportionately impacting the African American community, and how there are really three areas that IEHP is really trying to be diligent on: high blood pressure, maternal health, and child well visits, which, so many of us have put off a little bit, right? I want to talk to you a little bit about each one of those. First, high blood pressure. It's something that many, many Americans struggle with. The American Heart Association actually calculates it at 55% of African American adults have high blood pressure. What do you both do? And you're very healthy people, but to keep those numbers in check as you get older, things change. Tell us, what do you do, and how can the everyday person try to help keep that in check as well?
Well, I think blood pressure is a great example of a condition that is manageable and preventable, but can lead to chronic diseases, right? So it's very important that we pay attention to that. Off the bat, there's 3, 4 different simple ways how to keep your blood pressure in check. Number one, losing that extra weight, right? That's very important. To exercise, don't smoke, limit alcohol intake. It's about sodium. So don't eat processed foods or cut down on the processed foods because it's full of sodium. Natural foods don't really have much of sodium. So those are simple things that you can do in your everyday life to manage your blood pressure and make sure it stays in a great at a great level. Stress, you got to reduce stress where you can, which then leads us to mindfulness and mental health. To manage stress means to include some routines in your life that help you come down,
Mhm.
right? Whether it's meditation or taking a walk or putting on some music and sitting in your space and not being inundated by social media or any other detrimental influences on your mind. Cold showers, it's something else that helps. A lot of people are opposed to that, but even when you take your daily shower at the end of the day, crank it cold for 30 seconds. If you get to 2 minutes, you're good. You're straight. But start with 20 seconds.
Really? I never
Yeah,
knew that. I never knew that was a
yeah,
good way to
absolutely.
do
Because
it.
that spikes all those different hormones, serotonin, dopamine, that all reduces stress. So
You
those
know
are
how
some of the
we were a
easy ways.
teenager and your cousins pushed you in the freezing cold pool first, and even though you got mad at them, you were like,
Yeah.
but then it was like the best day ever.
Yes,
And
you're right.
when you're 12, you don't think about dopamine and serotonin, but that's exactly what happened to you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know, and I've, he's brainwashed me into liking cold water now. But
Well,
he's
liking
right.
cold water is a
No,
strong
but
word.
he's right. Like I
You
can
know.
feel the measurable impact. Like I can feel it. Like, oh, it's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
5 a.m. pickup today for work, and I feel like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I haven't even had a cup of coffee yet.
Yeah.
It's like right away.
I see. Okay, I
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah. Those are easy things, right? Or also blood sugar, right? Try to keep that sugar intake low, especially refined sugars. You don't need that. I think sometimes people don't wake up until it has developed into a chronic disease. And that's why I think it's so important what you're doing, Evelyn, to raise awareness around some of the preventative things that we can do on a daily basis that don't cost any extra money. It's just a matter of committing to something that helps you live a fuller life, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
Because after 50, 60, into your 70s, it's really all about those habits. And those habits will determine the quality of your life. And it's no longer about instant gratification. It's about, setting goals about how you want to live the last quarter or the last, third of your life. Do you want to spend that in a wheelchair or confined to your room and bed or with trips to the doctor every week or on dialysis or all? There's so many things that are preventable. Preventable. Why can't I say that word?
It's a super complicated word.
Preventable.
No,
There's
I
so many
totally get it.
things that are preventable.
Yeah.
We just have to commit to those, and we've done a pretty good job doing that, I think.
I take
Oh,
the approach
I love
of,
that.
I'm very American and I don't like anything taken from me, like I don't want to give up
Yeah.
anything. And I approach my health a little differently. I tell myself, okay, add something, right? Just like if you're not ready to give up your fast food or your fried food or your carbohydrate meals,
Mhm.
add walking. Like the best thing about being in New York, I I haven't I've been so exhausted. We have 12-hour days, then we have uh, table reads and all kinds of things and fittings.
Mhm.
And I just get home and I want to shower and go to bed and take my makeup off. And so I'm not necessarily in the gym every single day,
Yeah.
but I was like, how am I still like
Yeah.
fitting my clothes? I know it's been 4 days since I've worked out, and I walk 11,000 steps a day
Oh my gosh.
in New York City. Even if you take the subway to work, you're like down all those stairs on the platform, walk upstairs, walk 3 blocks to get to where you
Mhm.
go. If I run out of something and I am cooking dinner, I cook a lot now. I walk to the grocery store, I walk to the pharmacy, I walk to my friend's house. If you came to visit and I said, let's go to see a play, I love Broadway,
Mhm.
we would walk to get something to eat, and then I would walk home. And it's like, all that's we think all the stuff, the broad stuff like 10,000 steps a day will keep your doctor away. It's all true. All the bumper stickers are true. You know, I have to get my water down. It's been very hard for me. So I buy water in small bottles. So it feels like a victory when I get one down, and then I can drink 9 of them.
Mhm.
Whatever, really, you just start with yourself and know how you want to approach it. Like everybody wants to feel good, but nobody likes to feel like adding a burden. And that's such a shame that feeling good and being healthy feels like a burden. And no, you're not thinking about the cancer that might come, the leg amputation that might come, the heart failure that might come.
Mhm.
So it's about slowly redefining your health as a gift and something you add to your life, not subtract.
Adding like an enrichment activity, an enrichment thing that your body's gonna thank you
Yeah.
for.
And
Also,
Boris,
to understand that chronic diseases aren't transmitted by something,
Mhm.
right? That's very important to understand. These chronic diseases, they come from somewhere, right? But they're not transmitted by something or somebody. So where do they come from? They come from stuff that you put in your mouth.
Mhm.
And to really face that truth and to say, okay, do I want to end up with these diseases, these chronic diseases, or do I want to be preventative, start eating the right way to limit or to reduce the risk of getting those chronic diseases? Because that's where they come from. That's where they come from. They come from stuff that you put into your mouth, or obviously some environmental factors that it's harder to control, right? But you are definitely in control of what you put in your mouth. So a level of education and information is very important, and just the truth. The truth is we have to face that truth that we are in control of what we put into our mouth, and we don't have to go through the drive-through. We don't have to.
Mhm.
There's other alternatives on how to get real food. And I understand food deserts. I get that, but still, there's ways to make sure that we feed ourselves in a way that reduces some of those risks.
No, I think you're saying it exactly how it needs to be heard too. It is a harsh reality, especially for a lot of people who are avoiding maybe even going to their doctor because they don't want the doctor to say it like that. You know, they know the doctor's going to look at them and say, "Hey, well, here's what has to happen."
Yeah.
No. So it is really it's about breaking those habits. It's about understanding what your body is doing at that given time and how you want to end up, right? How you want to live. Do you want to live a healthy?
Yeah. Because look at, I just came from Europe. I was there for 3 weeks and people look very different. Why?
Yeah. Oh
Why?
yeah.
Why is that? It's because of how they eat. That's why. And there's a list of ingredients that are not allowed. They're illegal in Europe that are legal here.
That's
So
amazing.
people have to think about that. There's actually chronic diseases that don't exist in certain countries. There's African countries, for instance, they don't have MS. It just doesn't exist. Right. So
Wild. That's wild. Like to
yeah,
even think about that. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Then that is an environmental factor that is playing into where you live.
it's food. It's
Yeah.
food. It's how
Yeah.
we eat, and how we eat in this country does not match the idea of the so-called greatest country in the world.
Mhm.
Right. We're poisoning ourselves, and people have to pay attention to that.
All right, so let's move on to another topic that's I know hits very close to home for you all as well as myself, maternal health. If you're open to it, Nicole, I would love to talk a little bit about your pregnancies. What made the difference for you staying healthy during those pregnancies?
Oh, I just felt like I was baking the most incredible cake ever, and I only wanted like organic eggs and
Oh,
organic milk and organic flour, you know. So I
yeah.
was just very conscious of the broccoli and the chicken breast and the, you know, uh, I just felt so blessed that I was making a human
Yeah.
that everything was easy to do. I didn't care about the swelling or the I just it was I did everything that I was supposed to do, the folic acid, the vitamins, the water intake, because I was enjoying it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I had a great partner.
That helps.
Yes. Yeah.
That helps. You know, I think back to my three different pregnancies and my very first pregnancy, I was on my own. And
Hmm.
and there are a lot of people of color who are on their own for their first
Hmm.
pregnancy. And I think of my other two pregnancies, which had a very strong foundation of a husband and a wife and
Hmm.
and he was wonderful, he's a wonderful person. But I remember how I was treated differently in the hospital. I remember how I was treated differently at my appointments. I remember those
Wow.
feelings of just how different it was. And I didn't know it the first time because I just thought, oh, that's normal because it was my first time being a mother. And I
Yeah.
feel like there are so many women out there who can see that, like, yes, this is the challenge, but I'm still going through this and I still have to nurture this body and I still have to nurture this baby despite all of the things that are going on in our communities and for single mothers in our community as well. So I personally I remember like not wanting to take my folic acid. Like I remember being so sick and just thinking, I don't want to take any of this. And I like had to lean on my community. Like I had to lean on my friends and my family to tell me, like, no, this is why this is important. And this is so
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
mindset, right? Everything's a mindset. Everything is you
Yeah.
can get through anything if you change your mindset. So it's wonderful that you had such a solid mindset when you were going through your own pregnancies of no, this is it, the greatest cake I can make. This is the best thing in the whole wide
Yeah.
world. And
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful, beautiful blessing.
And I also wasn't afraid to speak up if I didn't know something.
Oh,
Did you?
amazing.
I mean, I would encourage a lot of first time moms, young and middle aged moms to like speak up. Your doctor has the information, but you might be number 13 on a 26 patient day.
Yeah.
And so you might feel shoved, but if you advocate for yourself, do not be afraid to say, the baby is like kicking in a way that doesn't feel normal, or I'm short of breath, just taking 2 steps. And, anything, I spoke up. I asked 1,000 questions,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm.
know, how to support your back. And there's so many resources now of, places to get the pillows, because we only use them for 9 months. I
Yeah.
did all of my stuff, the crib, the pillows, all the luxuries that, we had access to as young parents. We would go to these um, like mommy fairs, and get the belly cream. But I gave it away, and to places that served women who are, they've got a bunch of kids and jobs and maybe single, and deserve to have a back pillow.
Yeah. Deserve a little comfort.
Yes, yes.
Just the little things that you just go, okay, yes, I can lay,
But
and
all that
it
stuff
doesn't
is
hurt.
findable. I just want to encourage your viewers to find, where the places are to support moms.
Yeah. How about your postpartum journey? How was that for you?
Um, you might have to ask Boris.
What do
Oh
you remember, Boris?
I
boy.
would say the milk flowed, and the vegetables. I made the fresh baby food, and I didn't care that I was fat
Oh,
and
stop.
juicy and
Oh, stop.
delicious. I felt gorgeous. I don't know how it translated to Boris though.
Well, the milk did flow and you were gorgeous. But yeah, postpartum is real.
Yeah.
It's real.
I
And,
don't remember. I'm so
and
sorry.
I'm
I
glad you don't.
and juicy.
I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you don't.
Did I bite your head off?
Um, let's just say,
I think that's a yes.
no, listen. Look, postpartum is real, and it's something that couples have to be prepared for. I don't think it's like marriage, right? We focus on the for better part in the vows, not for the worst part. But the for worst part is going to come for sure, just like the for better part. And with pregnancy, I think it's the same. I think you have to be open-minded to understanding that, okay, the most beautiful, amazing, unconditional love is going to hit you. It's going to be incredible. But also, there's also parts that are very hard because the woman and the man, they're going through a transitional phase, physically, emotionally, mentally. And that transition sometimes culminates in a weird time postpartum, right? So you have to be open to that. And you have to, I think, inform yourself as much as you can. And you have, as a husband, I think it was my job to figure out a way how to, um, number one, not make her feel crazy. And number two, let her know that we're going through this together, right? You're here. And whatever happens, we'll tackle it together.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, we're going to transition out of that phase together. But it's real. Oh, yeah.
It's different. It's
Yeah.
so different.
Yeah.
That first thing.
It's measurable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your doctor can talk about the hormone shift that happens once the baby's out of you, and your body is now like on overdrive instinctually to keep the baby alive. But you're still functioning. You still have to go to work. You still have to get the water in to keep the milk going and the protein, and your body's changed. But also there is a very subtle part of postpartum that is about, you can feel yourself responsible. It's like that invisible thing, responsibility, my future, my capacity. Can I do this? So it's that thing you can't always verbalize. And I remember that feeling of, oh God, this is the beginning of the journey of the rest of my life. Do I know what I'm doing? What happens when they're 14, but the baby, you're just breastfeeding right now?
Yeah.
Are they gonna, should I start talking to them about drugs right away? Like what, manners, God, respect, make your bed. Like, it's a lot on a person. And, my grandmother, our moms, your husband could commit you. Like, there was no language around postpartum. Like, we're only
Woo.
2 generations away
Yeah. Yeah.
from realizing we're not crazy, but we are transforming into something much bigger. And even in that transformation, the mother has to realize it's okay to grow.
Yeah.
But it's also a great conversation to have about the maternity politics, because the only reason why postpartum here is such a big deal is because women are put in unfathomable situations, haven't had a baby and having to go back to work, right?
Right.
At home in Germany, you have a year paid maternity leave for both father and mother, and the woman can actually stay at home for 3 years if she wants to, one of which is going to be paid for, to care for this new baby. So when you tackle postpartum in that kind of environment, it's not as severe as when you put a woman into a situation where now she has to support, feed, nurture the baby, and go to work, and deal with real life again. So postpartum becomes a huge deal here in this country because we have put women into unacceptable situations where it's now detrimental to their own health, to the health of the child, and to the dynamic of the entire family, right? When you're talking about families breaking up, couples breaking up, all those factors play into that. So you can't just isolate the topic and talk about postpartum. You have to put it in the right frame and of context. And the right frame of context, unfortunately, is maternity politics.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really our job as the greatest country in the world to make sure that our women are taken care of, and therefore our children are taken care of. And we're not doing a very good job.
And therefore the citizens that are coming right behind us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, these babies are about to be the new leaders, the new politicians, the new doctors. Like, create the first, formative years as base and solid as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just common sense. I couldn't believe I met women in Germany and France and all these places. They were like, yeah, I'm going to go back to my job in 8 months.
Oh my gosh. I can't even
And
imagine.
then when they go, the childcare, because they know that they're dealing with still a 1-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
then your childcare is added to your check.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Or your job has a section where the 1-year-olds are.
Yeah.
They know that they're creating better employees and their future employees.
Absolutely. And encouraging a family and encouraging those kinds of things, because you can do it. You can do it.
It's forward thinking.
Yeah, it really is. It's looking forward. I love that. I think about postpartum for us here, beside those factors that you talk about, but even just the mother not really getting that follow-up checkups. See, we have the baby, right? And there's we got to go back in a week. We got to go back in 2 weeks. We got to go back in 6 weeks. We're there all the time, making sure they're getting all of their little vaccinations and things. But there's no checkup like that for moms here. But I know that in Europe there are, and they like literally do checkups on all the parts that went through the trauma. And I feel like that is just such a missing piece here, beside all of the other things that you obviously know.
Well, when you focus and you make human beings the priority, all those things are just logic. It doesn't take a scientist to figure out that all those things are connected.
Yeah.
But if you make, corporate bottom lines the priority, then all those things fall by the wayside. So then talking about how kids are our future is just fake. It's just because it's not true. The way we live here, it's not true that kids are our priority. It's not. Look at the school system, look at the healthcare system. It's just not. So we have to be honest about that, right? We live in a country that does not prioritize people. People come second or third on the list, right? And we have to be very honest about that, because it's the truth. And no matter how you slice it or dice it, that's just how it is. When you go into school and you kill 12 kids and the gun laws don't change, that says something. Yeah, kids are not priority. Human lives are not priority. Priority is making sure that the bottom line of those big Fortune 500 companies are intact, and the profits are intact, and that's the priority. So that's, I guess, okay, but you got to be honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be honest about it. So we have to deal with all those things in the right context.
And maybe that started with the stress in the home, not being able to stay home, you know?
Right? You have to think about that. It's full
Yes.
circle.
There
Yeah.
was the right piece for the mother, the right piece for the father, the
Yeah.
right care for the child, you know, and the environment in those formative years. It's very real.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's a lot to do, but I would,
In November 3rd, to be
but
exact.
There it
yeah,
is.
yeah, but we can't change the system tomorrow.
Mhm.
But if any women are listening to this, I would say don't make that doctor visit a pit stop. You're about to have whatever the new American time is, 17 minutes per patient or whatever it is, 26. I don't know. There's an actual number that you try to get to keep the appointment succinct. Have your 3 questions. Even if you don't even think about them, except when you need to like deal with something, be like, I'm coughing, something's going on down there,
Mhm.
and I have severe headaches all the time. Your doctor is so equipped and ready for that question. But if you go in there and treat her, that moment is just as dismissible, then she's just going to do the, or he's going to do the protocol. But
Mhm.
you are allowed to go in there and say, my breasts feel weird, my feet swell at night, but I'm so healthy, or, you know, I can't see. That's not my eyes are going bad. That might be sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's fun. I think there's a common thread through a lot of these podcasts that we've been doing, and it's about your advocacy, right? You have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You really have to. And if that's very hard for you, it's bring someone with you
Yeah.
who can sit there and advocate alongside you. It doesn't have to be your spouse. Maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your mom, but
Mm-hmm.
it's someone that can hear it through a different, mindset, because you're
Mm-hmm.
hearing things you want to hear maybe sometimes, and somebody else that can sit there with you and say, well, then what about this
You know what?
question?
Your OBGYN might be a parent too.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and might say, you know, I my skin itched severely too, and I was having a reaction to one of the vitamins I was taking. And
Mhm.
bring your vitamins next time. Let me see what you're taking. Like, you start to develop that relationship, but sometimes you have to start it.
Yep. And if it's not a fit, right? If your doctor's not a fit for you, move on.
Boom. If
Bye.
if they're not responsive,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there may be somebody else in the practice or somebody else nearby.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about your kids. So you've obviously navigated and you
You
still are
really want to
navigating.
open up that
I
can.
do. I have a
We're going to
question
be
for
here
you.
for 3 hours.
We're going to talk more about your kids. You have navigated teenage years. I know how hard that is because I've got three. I had three at one point in teenage years. I understand you have done some really cool stuff alongside your kids, like incorporating them through Boris, your fitness app during the pandemic,
Yeah.
and like as crazy as I can't even, how did you do this? And I need to know your secrets, but like keeping the kids off their cell phones when you're in the car. Tell me your secrets, tell me your ways. How
Well, they didn't even have cell phones till
We
they were
don't start the whole cell phone thing until they were 14. So
beautiful.
12. Sophie was
we
12.
we
12.
held
That's where
out.
we started. 12. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We held out for a long time because we knew how detrimental it was to their development, and we wanted to
Hmm.
make sure that they grow up without the addiction and without being dependent on those devices.
Hmm.
And look, as parents, everybody can relate. We're always exhausted. We always have 15 jobs to do. And then it's much easier to put an iPad in front of your 6-year-old so he can give you some peace of mind for a second.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. It's legit.
Because if you take
But
their phones away, you have to engage with them.
yeah,
It's hard.
but if you don't, if you choose to engage with the child instead, you play, you take them outside, you're setting a foundation, especially in the first 6 years of their life, you're coding their subconscious mind,
Mhm.
where now for the rest of their lives, they're not dependent on those devices, and they're actually developing a sense of imagination, fantasy, a sense of self, really. And I think we did that, and we did a good job at that. We traveled with the kids, we showed them things. I mean, we took the kids, speaking of pandemic, we took the kids to what was it, the Grand Canyon. Um, 2 years ago, we went on a road trip during the pandemic, and got out the house, and it does a lot for not just the family dynamic, but also for the kids, everybody individually. Show them that there's a whole world out there. Don't keep them cooped up in those four walls and with their TV. That kids never had a TV in their room until to this day, never. Um, and we reduced all of them. No video games. We took them outside, and we were exhausted, and we still took them outside and just walked and they played and they climbed trees.
Boris was really good about that. You were really good about let's go for a bike ride.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh
We just
yay.
we just made that extra effort. And I
Yeah.
think I'm 100% sure that the reason why they are who they are today is because we made that extra effort.
Mhm.
And I know parents out there, they're saying, well, I have two jobs. Yes, I get it. We work and we have to multitask and manage different things all the time. But it is worth it. And I'm not talking about sending them with a nanny. I'm talking about we went out and
Mhm.
did stuff with the kids. Even when I came home from work and I was dead tired, you got a little 3-year-old bouncing up and down. What are you gonna do? Put him in front of a TV or take him outside? Let's
Mhm.
go on. I would always say, let's go on an adventure. Let's go on an adventure.
I,
Yeah.
I want to also jump in because sometimes you don't live in a place where you can go outside or, it is late. And so, I wasn't really the person that would like, let's go for a run, kids. And so I, Sophie helped me cook dinner. Let's, let's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's do some, like, I had to include them in my projects.
Yes.
We made up
Boris was
games
really
in the
good
house.
at creating projects for them. He was
Yeah.
like, let's make the bed. Here, put these clothes in the dryer. Let's fold these. Let's wash your sneakers. Let me teach you how to bake a cake, that cake that we loved. Okay, get the flour, get the sifter. It was like, I was more practical life. And so the phones wouldn't be the primary
Yeah.
focus.
Dance offs. We would have dance sessions.
Yes.
The girls would choreograph dance stuff. And we still have video of that. It's hilarious.
That the world
The
will
stuff we
never
would
see.
do.
Oh, come
Nicholas,
on.
yeah, Nicholas,
It's like,
Nicholas,
oh,
go
they're
grab your tuba. Oh, what was he
Oh,
playing?
he was playing the saxophone. No, the
That-
trumpet.
The
The trumpet.
trumpet. Go grab your trumpet. And it was terrible. It was
It
like,
was bigger.
oh.
It was bigger than him.
And it sounded so terrible. And we encouraged him to play, and he would play. It would like, oh. You just have
Those
to
are
put in the
moments.
extra, you don't have to put on the extra effort. I know it's exhausting, but it's so worth. When I see these 3-year-olds on their iPads, the whole family on it makes me cringe because I know what's going to happen. 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line, you're completely isolated from your family members. You're not social. You're in your own cooped up world. You develop all these weird, mental health issues because you're completely addicted to this device and what it gives to you. It's terrible.
It's scary. It really is. And then you factor in what the other kids are doing, you know, and
Yeah.
how they interact within each other. And that's like
Yeah.
a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I wouldn't stress and I don't want anyone to stress out because the other 14 hours a day your kids away from you, yeah, their friends are going to be on the phone, they're going to be looking at TikTok and
Yeah.
maybe school, but the time we have with them, right, as parents is your time.
Mhm.
And there's a way to sprinkle in just some freshness into their brain.
Yeah. Really, you're right. You're absolutely right. We have a sign in our kitchen. We don't, our house is kind of small, so our kitchen is like the biggest area in our house. It's got a big area in the middle.
Mhm.
I have a sign in there that says this kitchen is for dancing, and that's our dance
Wow,
floor. So, and
that's
it's
great.
and it's cool. I was like, oh my gosh, this was like the perfect sign ever because literally this is where we dance. Like I'll, Alexa, put this on or whatever,
That's
and we'll just be in there, and it's like random dancing that has to happen. And it's those moments though. It's those moments that they create those bonds. It's those moments that they create those memories, right? I mean, I know, we've all seen Inside Out. I really feel like it's like that. These are creating these core memories. All of the things are related to each other, and it's about the interaction and the human interaction. So it's so wonderful to see you. I mean, I've been looking through your social media and stuff. It seems like you have such a very beautiful bond with your kids, and I know that it had to have started like that. So wonderful. Kudos to you both.
You.
Let's talk really quickly. I know we're going a little long, but about preventative visits. So I know a lot of people have been putting those things off, even since the pandemic. And I'm guilty. I literally just took the kids back to the dentist this year, and I was like, we haven't gone. We used to have those 6 months. Every 6 months we were going. We were going. Pandemic came, and just like everything went out the window. What has worked for your family to prioritize those type of things? I know they're older now, and I know maybe with your daughter, you probably can't go to all of her visits any longer since she's maybe aged out.
Staying
But
on top of them. I've kind of fallen off with the calendar for that because
mhm,
we're all four of us are in so many different places. But she's really on top of her schedule.
yeah, great, which is
Yeah.
wonderful.
I think it's teaching them at an early age that you're responsible for your well-being, whether it's physical, spiritual, or mental, and that there's things that you can do and there's help you can get, and you have to stay on top of that, whether it's going to the dentist or therapy or regular general practitioner visits. It's like anything else, we model for them what that looks like at an early age. So when we do it, it becomes a normal to them, and then they do it. You can't preach, you have to do it. The whole thing about don't do you know, as I do say, do as I say, it doesn't work. You
Mhm,
just have to,
mhm.
you have to do it. And Sophie does it because mommy does it, right? And mommy did it, and now Sophie does it. So it's just one of those teaching things that you have to include in when you raise your kids.
Set the example.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know we touched a little bit about it, just about the mental health side of things, especially when we're talking about blood pressure and really taking moments for yourself. How have you been able to do that for yourself separately? I know since you work in different places sometimes. Do you have a set, I don't know, like a pattern that you do? I wake up, I do 5 minutes of mindfulness, or what are your days look like with your mental health?
Yeah, same thing. It's a routine, and we do it individually, and when we're together, we do it together. First thing, like I have a deal with myself where I don't touch my phone for an hour after I wake up. So I spend time first with meditation, prayer, and then I work out. And it's me time. Again, when I'm with Nicole, we do it together. And that's also something we've taught the kids. And and it's a journey that they have to sort of explore on their own, right?
Mhm.
Everybody has their own relationship with being a spiritual being, whether you believe in God or the universe or however you approach that. The most important thing about that is that you understand that there's a source of power that you can connect with, whether you call it light or God or whatnot, and that you have to spend some time connecting to that power
Mm.
every day, and then feeling the effects of that and understanding that it's a real thing, and that it's something that can help you stay grounded. It's something that can help you reduce stress. And so mindfulness is a real thing. Again, as parents, we model that behavior and we introduce those routines, those patterns, those habits into our kids' lives. And I knew that it worked when I overheard my 6-year-old son teach it to his friend. That's when I knew it worked. When Nicholas taught his friend Tay how to visualize. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I think it's important for them. And I think our kids have sort of started um, building their own way around those sort of paradigms.
Yeah. And how about you, Nicole? I mean, how are you? What are you doing right now to keep on top of your mental health?
Well, I pray and
Mm-hmm.
I journal and I stopped making prayer and meditation precious, meaning if I close my laptop right now, I might just stay sitting here and take time to breathe instead of running off to the next thing and saying thank you. Like I have so many things pulling that I like to be grateful for the moment, and that's cumulative. It stacks on top of each other, and like by the end of the day, I will have like an amazing day. And
Mm-hmm.
if I don't, I'm prepared for it, and I don't know. I stopped making it precious and putting, just like working out, just like do it where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't need a bunch of stuff to give thanks and be grateful and connect with God, So that's how I do it. It's practical life. It's not
Yeah.
precious.
That's a great tip. I think that's a wonderful tip because you know what you do you put that boundary in your own head, right? Oh,
Yeah,
I can only do this when I'm at home sitting on my couch where I'm calm and no, you can do that anywhere. You really can do that anywhere. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and you can get more invested in it when you realize, like, it's not, sometimes people say my God is a jealous God or whatever, and I never really understood that. But when Boris talks about the force of God and the light of God, like the minute you pay attention to the thing that's beating your heart, you could almost feel it be like, yes, thank you, I'm here. But I mean, you can feel that the attention you give to your heartbeat and to your breath just loves it. It shows up for you. When you give peace in your mind, attention, it's like, yes, I got you. But if you
Hmm.
ignore it and ignore it and ignore it and ignore it, it's like, oh, she doesn't want joy. I'm gonna just go stay.
And it does.
It's
No,
very
no, I get it.
weird. It's miraculous. And I don't want to be on a rock right now, you know, but it's pretty life changing. And the minute I started thinking that way, it's my life just kept growing.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I think a lot of time I talk for a living and I'm on the radio and I'm on multiple shows and I'm constant go 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 and I have to talk and talk and talk. And sometimes I catch myself without breath,
Mm.
you know, where I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it. And I'm like, I need to take a second and I need to breathe
Mm.
through this moment because even though I don't think anything's bothering me, I can hear it like when I play something back and I'm like, whoa, who is that? Who is
Mhm.
that? She is not breathing.
Wow.
But I feel like that's that mindfulness moment within yourself when you realize I do need to pay attention to
Mhm.
myself, to
Mhm.
listen to myself, to realize I don't think I've taken a deep breath in hours,
Mhm.
hours. And those are those big cleansing, everything feels better breath, right? Yeah. And that's you finding, oh, yeah, yeah, you're there. See, I paid attention to you. I'm good. I'm good. I'm back.
Yes.
Yeah, those are those good moments. Oh, you guys have been such a joy. Thank you so much. Before
Thank
we
you.
we wrap up, I want to ask, I know there's been so many great conversations, pieces of nuggets of knowledge and stuff going on here, but what are the three biggest takeaways you hope that our listeners get from this conversation today?
I think there's one major one is that you have the power to change your life, and whether that's your health, or your relationships or whatever it is, you are in charge of doing that. When people say, I want my life to change, it's really about you making those changes for yourself.
Mhm.
And that you can start immediately. You don't have to wait for something to happen. You know, people always procrastinate, and they speak so much power into exterior things.
Mhm.
If that happens, then something will change. If that happens, no, it's really about you. And which is a great power to have, knowing that you can single-handedly change your life. Every single day when you wake up, there's a new opportunity.
Mhm.
And I would like people to get that to as a takeaway.
Yeah, you have the power.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for all you've done for IEHP, your advocacy within the community and beyond. It has not gone unnoticed. We've talked about having you guys on the show for a long time. So we were so excited that you guys were able to be here. So
For having us.
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, I hope so. I feel like there's so many more avenues we can go down. So you guys have a wonderful day. I can't wait to hear I can't wait to look at your social media and see you together.
I know.
More days.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
You
Thank
both take care, and thank you
Right.
so very much for joining me.
Thanks, Evelyn. Bye.